For those with iPhones, HomeKit devices are by far the easiest way to set up your smart home. But just because you're using HomeKit doesn't mean you're getting the most out of the platform. Here are a few things you need to do to make sure you're getting the most out of HomeKit. This first one I consider an absolute must for any HomeKit smart home. Get a home hub. Once you get your first HomeKit devices set up in your house, you'll have no problem controlling them from within Apple's Home app when you're on the same Wi-Fi. But if you're on a different network or you're outside of the house, suddenly you'll be unable to control or connect to any of the devices in your house. I see it as essential to be able to make sure lights are turned off or the AC is adjusted how I want it when I'm outside the house. You also won't be able to run any automations properly without a home hub. Thankfully, getting one is super easy. If you have an Apple TV or HomePod on the same network, signed into the same Apple ID, they will automatically be set up as a home hub, so you won't need to worry about it. It's possible to set up an iPad as a home hub in the Settings app under Home, but this is less advisable, especially if you plan on getting Matter devices, as the iPad cannot be a home hub for the updated home architecture. If you don't yet have an Apple TV or HomePod to act as your home hub, you can usually find great deals on certified refurbished HomePod minis. You can really easily add a new HomePod to your account, and if you pick up two, you can even set them up in a stereo pair for a much wider soundstage. Once you have your home hub set up and powered on, the next feature you need to make use of are automations. You definitely aren't getting the most out of your smart home if you've just replaced every physical button or switch with an equally or even more cumbersome voice command. Instead, let automations do the work for you. While you can get way more complicated with sensors and the like, I think the best way to start is keeping it simple with timed automations. One of the first automations I ever set up was automatically turning off and on outdoor Christmas lights. But if you have a porch light, you can set it up to turn on either at a specific time or automatically based on sunset, so it adjusts the exact time throughout the course of the year. You can have it automatically turn off the light after a specific number of minutes or hours, or you can use a separate automation run at the same time every day to make sure outdoor lights are off. Continuing with those automations, they're a great way to wake up in the morning rather than dealing with typical alarms. If you have a regular wake up time, you can have your lights gradually turn on to a dim setting. You could even take it to the next level by upgrading your existing curtains into smart curtains. Have them open up just before sunrise to let the natural light wake you up in the morning, and set them to close at sunset so people can't see inside your house. Smart curtains may not be for everyone, but I love having mine, and they could be worth considering. I use Aqara's Curtain Driver E1, but there are options from other brands as well. There are also a ton of smart blind options, if you prefer to have your automated control on blinds rather than curtains. Next up, to make sure that you're getting the most from HomeKit, occupancy detection is a really valuable option. You can use things like IR motion detection to ensure lights stay on or off in certain rooms depending on if people are there, but the most valuable occupancy detection to me is just standard home occupancy detection based on people's phones' locations. With occupancy detection, you can have your AC automatically turn up a few degrees once everyone is left for the day to save any unnecessary cooling. You could then have it automatically adjust to your desired temperature when you get back home, or ideally have it set to cool off in the hour before you get home to make sure the temperature is exactly where you want it by the time you arrive. If you have a smart lock on your door, like the level lock with home key support, you can use that same occupancy detection to make sure your house is locked once everyone's left. No more second guessing if you remembered to lock the doors on your way out. And the home key support the level lock has can be incredibly helpful. While you can still use a normal key, you can also just tap your iPhone or Apple Watch to unlock the door when you get back home. Now, all of these automations are great to set up on their own, and you can even put multiple accessories into the same automation, but in many cases, a far better option is to use scenes. That makes it easy to activate all those smart home accessories at the same time, either by automation or by using Siri. If you're always turning on the overhead light, a lamp, and opening the blinds, there's no reason you should have to control them all separately. Instead, within the Home app, you can just tap the plus button and choose Add Scene. After naming it, you can choose what accessories you want to be a part of that scene and what state they should be in during the scene. It's way easier to ask Siri to enable a scene than it is to turn on a whole list of different smart home accessories. My final tip has everything to do with what devices to pick. Do you stick with smart light bulbs or smart light switches? For the most part, for me, the answer is clear: smart light switches. While smart light bulbs can be nice, and they open up the possibility to use RGB lighting in your existing light fixtures, if you choose to go with smart bulbs, then you're stuck with dumb light switches that you have to leave on at all times. It doesn't do any good to have a smart bulb if you accidentally turn the switch off when you're walking out of the room. There's only one room I use smart bulbs in, and I resorted to taping the light switch in place so I can't turn it off by accident. In almost all cases, a smart light switch is a far better option. That way, you can use the physical switch or smart control options to adjust your lights. There are a ton of different options for smart switches, including dimmer and three-way options, so they can be drop-in replacements for all your existing dumb switches. Now, if you do want those RGB bulbs, you aren't totally out of luck. If you end up using these, I would recommend getting a wireless button to use as a physical control option for your lights. Something like Aqara's wireless mini switch could easily do the job to control your lights. And with it being a connected device, you could even use that button to enable a specific scene to control multiple smart devices rather than just a specific light. And if you have multiple bulbs in the same fixture, you'll always be controlling them together, so you can create a group of them. In the Home app, just select one of the bulbs and open the settings. Then choose to group it with the other accessories in that same fixture, and then you can easily control them all at once. With all your smart devices being connected, there are a ton of possibilities I only just scratched the surface of here. You can get far more advanced as you build out your smart home, so if you have any great automations or smart home solutions you've implemented, I'd love to hear about them in the comments down below. Give this video a like if it helped you out, and subscribe to the channel for more from 9to5Mac.